So let's begin by settling the body, adopting a stable, comfortable, upright position, serviceable for meditation. So we think about keeping our feet flat and our back straight, torso open, hands in the lap right over left with the palms upturned and the thumbs gently touching. Our eyes are gently closed or slightly open, making sure we let in enough light to remain alert. We try to avoid slouching or leaning. We also let go of any unnecessary tension or rigidity in the body, relaxing into a stable, comfortable, upright position. And begin to let go of attending to the environment, allowing sights and sounds to be as they are without investigation. Constraining your awareness just to the body and mind. Concentrating that awareness in the present by attending closely to the physical sensation of the air, moving into and back out of the tip of the nostrils. Noticing quickly when anything other than that one physical sensation is arising in the mind, and without judgment or frustration, lifting your awareness up from those distractions, placing it gently but firmly again and again on the breath. and then generate a broad and altruistic motivation for your time, wanting to use your time to establish and solidify constructive, beneficial ways of thinking and acting, cultivating states of mind that allow oneself to remain connected to a sense of peace and ease, and states of mind that, when they arise naturally and spontaneously, give rise to actions that are beneficial for others. Wanting to reduce the influence of states of mind that are not beneficial, those that agitate, disturb one's own peace, and that often give rise to actions that cause harm for others. Thinking of engaging in this process of inner transformation to be of greater and greater benefit to sentient beings. And with that motivation, since Geshe recently taught on the 8 verses of thought transformation, I thought we'd use the next few classes to meditate on the 8 verses, as we do a couple times a year, a few times a year. The first verse of the 8 verses, with the thought of attaining enlightenment for the welfare of all beings who are more precious than a wish fulfilling jewel, I will constantly practice holding them dear. With the thought of attaining enlightenment for the welfare of all beings who are more precious than a wish fulfilling jewel, I will constantly practice holding them dear. So there are a few different concepts presented. The first is that we should try to cultivate the wish to achieve enlightenment for the welfare of all beings as our main practice. So we try first to recollect what we've studied or understood about bodhicitta. Our understanding that the real obstacle to genuine happiness and freedom from suffering are the afflicted states of mind, hatred, jealousy, greed, and so on. And the actions that flow from these afflicted states, kinds of experiences that those karmas generate. Seeing how all sentient beings are caught in that cycle and creating those experiences again and again. We ourselves are caught in that cycle, and being caught in that cycle is a limitation. It restricts the amount of benefit we can bring to sentient beings. So our focus should be on eliminating that barrier to being able to benefit sentient beings by achieving our own enlightenment in order to lead all sentient beings to their own. So think along those lines and try to generate the thought of attaining enlightenment for the welfare of all beings. And then the way to see all sentient beings is as a wish fulfilling jewel. That's a mythical item that can grant all ordinary wishes like wealth and fame. But no matter how much wealth or fame or status a person has, those temporary states are ultimately meaningless. By relating properly with sentient beings, cultivating love and compassion, practicing generosity and ethics. By relying on sentient beings in that way, we achieve far more. We achieve the inner qualities that lead to liberation. Even without difficult people, difficult circumstances, we would lack the conditions to cultivate patience. So every sentient being is creating the causes and conditions for our own enlightenment. So they're far more precious than a wish fulfilling jewel. So cultivate seeing sentient beings in that way. And then what flows from seeing sentient beings in that way is how we treat sentient beings. It's just to constantly practice holding them dear rather than being partial to some sentient beings who act in a particular way. We see the value of every sentient being, seeing all sentient beings in their fullness, not just how they treat or don't treat oneself in a way that comports with our preferences. So try to imagine taking these insights into your day, thinking clearly, what would it be like to think of everyone that you meet as a wish fulfilling jewel, as more precious than a wish fulfilling jewel? And what would it be like to practice constantly holding them dear? Try to rest your mind in that way of being in relation to sentient beings. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. And we'll dedicate to recollect your altruistic motivation and think that by having engaged in this contemplation, you've actualized that motivation, which has created positive energy in the mind. And think that you freely offer the fruit of your practice, that positive energy for the benefit of all sentient beings, without exception. May that positivity create the causes and the conditions to eliminate war and conflict, poverty, famine, disease, disasters, all painful inner and outer conditions. May it fully ripen the minds of all sentient beings. May they quickly meet perfect teachers and arise in the state of full enlightenment. May I too achieve the state of enlightenment in order to work for the benefit of sentient beings perfectly. May any obstacles facing the Guru's long life be completely dispelled. And may I and all sentient beings in this moment come under the joyful care and guidance of enlightened beings. May we be guided and protected until we swiftly achieve that state of enlightenment. Thank you.